Entrepreneurship can be really hard, and when you're doing it by yourself, trying to navigate the terrain, it can almost be impossible. That's why we created the Entrepreneur Circle. Every episode, you're going to hear from incredible entrepreneurs who are in the same trenches that you are in. And we're going to talk through what's working, what's not working, whether it be in marketing, finance, or anything in between. We're here to talk business and figure out how each of us can rise together. So welcome to the circle. Let's dig in. Wow, you guys, we are here. We are rolling. Everything's on. Welcome to the Entrepreneur Circle. I'm Paresa Noble, and I'm just so excited that you're here. I'm so excited that you're taking the time to click the link and press play because, baby, we out here. We are starting this podcast with a bang, and I'm just so thrilled. And you guys, before we dig into all the good stuff, I thought I'd take episode 1 to really just lay the groundwork of what you can expect here. The reality is that being in business for yourself, ultimately just performing at a high level, it's not an easy journey. It takes a lot of grit and hard work and passion to do it. And it ain't for the weak, let's be real. So this whole show and this community is for the hustlers, the people who want to really level up, because we're not going to be talking about basic story here. This isn't that kind of show. We're going to be talking about legitimate hands-on strategies and tactics that you could take and implement into your business right now to help you take it to the next level. That's what this show's about. And as you drive to work or as you work out or wherever you're listening to this, I hope that something we say here, whether it's this episode or the future, something we say here gives you that aha light bulb moment that really helps you unlock scaling your business. The core fundamentals of business are the core fundamentals of business. And that's what I want to talk about here. And I'm not an expert by any means. I'm learning every single day. But when we collectively come together and put our expertise together, that's where we're going to see what we need to do. So that's the whole point of the Entrepreneur Circle is we're going to have business owners who have been in business for just a year. They're just getting started. They're starting to see momentum. Then we're going to talk to some business owners who have been in the game forever and they had to shut down. We're going to talk to business owners who started in their garage and built it out to be a 100 million plus company. We're going to have people from all walks of life, all industries guesting on this show, and it will all roll into this, the invisible line theory. There is a very fine line between good and great. There is a very fine line in how we show up in our thoughts, in our actions, in our habits and the patterns that we find ourselves in. There is a fine line between the people who live a very fulfilling and successful life and the ones who just are running the rat race. That's what every single conversation is going to roll up to. Every single thing, every single part of our businesses, of our personal lives, of our friendships, of our strategic partnerships, everything you look at, there is a very nuanced difference between how we approach it well and how we approach it poorly. So what is the invisible line theory? When you look at your life or just the way that you think, the way that you show up, we could either be on the right side of the line or the wrong side of the line. And it all comes down to how aware we are of that line. Are we consuming? Or are we creating? Are we in a silo or are we in synergy? Are we receiving or reciprocating? This is all going to roll into our success and the fulfillment that we see in our business. That's what this circle is about, building our awareness so that we can identify that fine line and choose with intention which side of the line we want to sit on. When we look at our work, are we waiting on other people to tell us how to do something? Or are we going out there and figuring it out ourselves? When you look at a small business owner, someone who's really struggling in their business, who hasn't broken through, found the momentum, etc., versus the $100 million business owner, if that $100 million business owner can think back to that one moment of how they made a decision and in what context they were thinking to make that decision, I guarantee you the decisions they made were different. Because the reality is, when we can really take a step back and look at our problems as entrepreneurs objectively and with a level of awareness that can have foresight and see how situations can play out, I think there's so much to be said about what we can create. There's so many people in the world who just go off of what feels good. They go off of, is it comfortable? Does this feel right? Rather than taking a minute and challenging their level of comfort. And I'm guilty of this too. We would all rather be in a comfortable, cozy position, right? But the reward is where the risk lies. And we all know this. In that moment where you have to decide though, if you're going to do something or not, that's when you need to figure this out and know this lesson, because our subconscious mind is going to naturally push us to do what's comfortable, not to go out on a whim. You hear it all the time: to grow, you need to be out of your comfort zone. But when the time actually comes for you to be out of your comfort zone, are you doing it? Maybe. And I just feel like the more you do it, the better you'll be. The comforts in our lives show up every single day, multiple times a day, and we have an opportunity multiple times a day to challenge ourselves. So when we look at our comfort zone, oftentimes human nature pushes you to the more negative side of that invisible line. Listen, consume or create. Which one sounds more comfortable? Receive, reciprocate. Which one sounds more comfortable? Silo or synergy? Which one sounds more comfortable? It's an example to really look at every element of your life as a business owner, as a parent, as a friend, as a partner, as a daughter, brother. There's just so many aspects of your life that the invisible line theory is applicable, and it comes up multiple times a day. So I'm going to break down the first couple right now. I mentioned them. Consume versus create. Our natural state of mind reverts us into a comfortable position of being the ones that consume. We eat comfort food. We watch shows and movies. We read articles. We scroll on Instagram and TikTok. We consume. That's the comfortable side. That's the easy side. I think there's always going to be a portion of your mind that is on that side of the line, consuming, because that is often where we'll find our inspiration. It's often where we'll find comfort, like I said, but it's also where we find an empty cup. Our cup pours out for the things that we consume. We have to fill that cup back up. And in my opinion, creating something is how you fill it. When you look at the other side of the line, you see creation. Are you watching a movie, or are you filming your kids running at the park? Are you reading articles, or are you writing articles? Scrolling endlessly on Instagram, or are you creating content that could teach people something about what you do, or that could make people laugh? There is a very fine line between those things, and it's a constant move back and forth of where you're going to sit. You're going to straddle the line, but the key is, where are you spending most of your time? And I guarantee you, especially when it comes to being an entrepreneur, when you are spending more time creating, whether you're creating content, creating trainings, creating processes, creating new ideas, new products, new innovations, that is the gold. That is what gets you ahead. Not consuming, not looking at what your competitors are doing and taking their ideas. No. It's you creating. It's your team creating. And when we can make that shift in our minds, not only does our cup fill back up, but our impact grows tenfold. Here's the reality. You have these ideas and you have these experiences in your life. You have this skill set that you're going to share with the world. You have it for a reason. Nobody else has what you have. Nobody else has the vision that you have or the purpose that you have. God has placed it on your heart for a reason. And we can either choose to listen to it and go chase it and create it and manifest it, or we can just be comfortable and play small. So that's the number one overarching example of the invisible line theory, because I feel like that seeps into every part of our lives, create versus consume. However, there are so many other facets to this that I'm going to cover in the episodes to come. And I'm so excited for you to join me with it. So with that, I'm so grateful that you took the time to listen to this episode. I can't wait for our upcoming shows to launch, because we have some amazing guests lined up that are going to share their stories with you. And with every single person that comes on this show, they are a wealth of knowledge. We're not just having anybody come on this show. We are having strong business owners who have shown that they know what they're doing and have taken matters into their own hands as far as growing their business. And it comes down to scaling in a way that's strategic and intentional, in a way that doesn't burn us out. That's what we're after here. We're after fulfilling lives, lucrative lives, where we can create massive impact and leave this world a better place than we found it, right? So let's do that together. I appreciate you tuning in, and we'll see you on the next episode. Remember this as you go about your day today. The ideas that are on your heart for a reason. Do not ignore them. Tune into them. Tap in, lean in, understand them, and pursue them. If not you, then who? If this episode was helpful to you in any way, please like, share, comment, subscribe. It does wonders for our efforts, and it helps us to continue our mission of inspiring entrepreneurs and giving them the resources and the perspective we all need to take it to the next level. Thanks for tuning in. I'm Paresa Noble, and we'll catch you next time.